back to Muscles and Malpractice. Your weekly dose of fitness, health, and everything in between. Your host, one of your hosts, Andrew Bustos here with
Dr. Stuart Martin.
Dr. Stuart Martin.
Yes,
Employment
sir.
of the year. Hey, dude.
The
Hey.
rarely seen but always sought after Dr. Martin.
Dude, okay, I just thought of this as we're talking, but we haven't talked about what happened to, what's his name? Not Mootenho, but the guy that fought Mootenho.
Bro, oh my gosh.
Dude, we didn't even talk about it.
What, Sugar
Sugar
Sean, dude.
Sean, dude, lost again.
He lost?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't even pay attention. Me and Katie saw that was like on last night when I was like crawling into bed, and like honestly, we were like, should we get the pay-per-view? Because like we never usually get the UFC pay-per-view, but we really like him and like wanted to watch it kind of. So we're old, dude. I don't even stay awake for the whole fight. It's like the title fight's at 11:30.
Yeah, dude. And Sugar Sean got his boop whooped again.
No.
I can't say the other guy's name. It's like
just completely lit up.
Dude, yes. Just beat him up. Sugar Sean was like, that's a crazy mother, blank, blank at the end. You know, he's crazy. I don't know. How do you say his name? Let me go look. You're a pronouncer of names. I'm not.
Yeah, let me see him. I didn't like, I have
Swan.
I have gotten a little bit out of the UFC game, I will admit.
Ever since you became a father. Ever since I became a father.
Well, I mean, we brought Sam over to your house and watched some fights, man. It's just
that's been the last time. Divalishvili. How do you say that name? Mirab. Divalishvili. Not gonna work here anymore.
Yeah, not gonna work here.
No, dude. Yeah.
Beat him. What did I? So the other thing I saw related to UFC news was, what's her name is being a complete dumbass and coming out of retirement again.
Oh yeah,
and gonna get her ass kicked again.
Not Pena. She fought last night, but what's her name?
No, it's that little blonde.
Well, the one that won, the woman that won. Let me just go to the UFC last night, 316. So Kayla Harrison won. She's the champ. She's the champ now. She beat Juliana Pena. And I know who was the girl that called her out. Who was the one that's going to fight her? So Kayla Harrison's going to fight. What's her name? She just retired at age like 36.
Yeah, because she came out of retirement to get the like ass kicked out of her.
Oh yeah, Amanda Nunes. Amanda. Yeah. I think the last time we watched Amanda Nunes.
Yeah,
she got beat.
Whooped. Like you could see the age. And I've got an idea, honestly. I'm like, and I don't know that this is a real thing or not, but like I'd heard this theory kind of floated about these UFC fighters and like how they kind of rise and fall. And it makes a little bit of sense with our biology and how you just go through chronic trauma. But like, you know, up until Sugar Sean started getting knocked out now, it was like the dude could not be stopped, right? Like,
yeah.
And it's almost like there's this idea of like you have so much of a threshold of brain trauma before now you are, when you get hit again, going to just get lights out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and so you see that really is like, there's nobody early in their career that's just getting like, at least out of these champ type guys, they can take the hit. Like they will take the hit and keep moving. It's not that they're not getting hit. It's not that they're not necessarily fighting a quality opponent. It's that they haven't been hit enough yet.
Right.
And then when they finally do, they go down. And then it usually works this way. You don't usually see somebody like, oh, they got knocked out like Sugar Sean, and then all of a sudden they're like back on top and nobody else beats them again. It's like they're kind of like hopefully they made it. Like that's what's crazy about UFC is like making money while you can, because it is the most short-lived career you're ever going to have.
Yeah, and Marab, I'm going to say Marab, I forgot how they pronounce it, but I watched the last fight, the last time they fought each other, and he beat the crap out of Sugar Sean. I mean, killed him. And then you could tell that Marab got even better. Like he was even quicker. He was even stronger because he made him tap.
Yeah.
But Sugar Sean, dude, he's one of those guys. He's not, I don't know. I don't, like you're saying, I think they do hit a wall, and they do hit something and they get popped and they're like, I'm not invincible. Because I truly believe when you're at that level, you think when you haven't lost, you're invincible.
Yeah.
And then mentally, when you come back, it's like, dude, I got beat by this guy, and now he's even better. How do I bounce back from this? What do you do? Even Ronda Rousey was one of those. She was at the top of her game, and she gets knocked out. She gets choked out. And then you never see her again. She goes WWE. That
Right.
she fixed because there's no longer can you compete. People get better. People get stronger. People get
And
faster.
to quote one of my absolute heroes in this world, but used in a much different context, the truest Texan I know of anymore, Matthew McConaughey. I keep getting older and they just stay the same.
Oh shoot, you're Texas Longhorn, Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, I guess I forgot to mention he is not perfect. That's the problem. Is if he really knew better about Texas and Texans, he'd know that a true Texan had to be an Aggie fan. But that's okay.
Dude,
everybody's got their faults, right?
How did you feel about your Longhorns winning a softball championship?
Nah,
that was
in
a big
some
deal,
ways,
right?
that's more disappointing than the A&M baseball team. I think.
Ooh.
Well, look, we still were going to
why'd
be
you
a
go
good
there?
baseball team this year, but
You
that
had
whole
to go
coaching
there.
thing obviously makes people very sore and tender about. But I mean, the A&M women's softball team went into that tournament, I think, with a number 1 seed. I think they were the number 1.
They were, dude. Even
and they
A&M.
got knocked out in the first round. But
A&M was number 1.
Yeah,
the Aggies, dude, they were number 1.
I think we talked about this on another podcast,
Yeah.
but again, that is why it is so hard to be an Aggie fan, and that's why I love it even more, because they've again come up with this thing on TikTok and other stuff talking about battered Aggie syndrome again, because we've had one of the worst kind of expectations to disappointment years that you could in athletics, alongside the Longhorns having one of the best.
Yeah, sorry, man. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
I know you're
Life goes on,
sad
dude.
about it. So just let the people know you've cried about it with me. We've sat together, held each other's hands.
I rarely
cried,
get very,
and
very
we were
disappointed
very,
and
very
upset
cried.
and lively during Aggie football
And I said,
games.
"Look me in the eyes, Stuart. Look at me in the eyes. It'll be okay." And you said, "No, it won't. It won't be okay."
Whatever.
No, dude. Here's a fun fact. Okay, so the center fielder for the Longhorns, I don't remember her first name, but her last name's Young. Her mom and her uncle, I went to high school with them. You believe that? I went to high school with them. So her mom's in the stands. She catches the home run ball in the semifinal. And I was like, dude, there's Karina. No kidding.
You went to high school with her?
Yeah, I went to high school with her mom and her uncle in Carlsbad, New Mexico. And what's cool, she's a really great player. And I look up into the stands, as they were panning the stands, and there's her dad. But the dad, I was like, I think that's her dad. I have never met the dad. After she finished high school, she went to go play softball somewhere. I don't know who the dad was, but the dad, I was like, that guy looks familiar. He looks like he's from Abilene. So this weekend, I'm at the Derek's baseball all-star game, and one of the guys, I was talking to him about the game, and I said, there's a guy that's on TV. I told this whole story, and he goes, well, that guy, you know who that guy is, right? Her dad. It's Brandon Henry. And I was like, Brandon Henry? I know that name. So he's from Abilene. I've seen him and I've met him and I've talked to him at Derek's football stuff. So I was like, I know her dad. How do I know her dad? This is so weird. So it all came full circle. I was like, I've talked to her dad. I know her mom. I don't know if they're still, I don't think they're still together, but it was just like, how do you know that? What the full circle, bro? It was one of those moments. You ever have those moments where you're like, what? How do we, who?
Well, I was hoping you'd say something more like, it was the former mayor, Anthony, or whatever.
Yeah, Anthony, yeah. But it's just funny. I guess when you live in Texas, it probably happens more in Texas with a little bit of New Mexico. I guess you could really call Carlsbad Texas. You could call it Texas. Right? I know there's already a Carlsbad, Texas, but it's so close to Texas that all this little area, not like Houston, which is its own state practically.
Yeah.
It's its own place. It's huge. But all around this area is probably a little bit more tight. You're going to probably run into each other a little bit more.
I mean, for sure. And I think Yep. Full circle in the sense of you having people that you know growing up, seeing their kids, and then knowing somebody that's related to them in the same town you're in. I
Yeah,
get what
that
you're
I'm
saying.
living.
That I think that can only happen pretty regularly in smaller communities
Right,
because you
right.
you get enough space where you're not going to see people regularly, but then there
Yeah.
are these big kind of connecting events, and for West Texas and New Mexico, that's exactly what it is they're so small that if you're not like right there where you're at around those people,
Yep.
you're not going to see them. But then like things like the Texas high school football playoff and stuff like that are like such a big event and like a regular event that ties all the communities across the state, and maybe not New Mexico in that example, but it kind of brings people together of like a family reunion every year. Because it was like it's the other thing I've kind of found with like talking about where me and Katie are moving, which is likely into a community outside Weatherford called Brock.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody just keeps being like, "Oh, well, my son plays on the football team for this team and that team, and Brock's good every year when we play him." Blah, blah. So it's like they're already trying to like set up the fact that like, oh, my son will be at Brock and he's gonna be on that football team, and we're gonna have that to look forward to.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
there's no
yeah.
soccer in Brock, bro.
Uh,
There's no
I have done
soccer.
some research now. Apparently, soccer is picking up in West Texas.
They're like, "Hey there, boy, go in there, kick that can around if you want to play that soccer. Get the heck off my field. What are you doing?"
Nah, bro.
Nah,
Sorry,
don't even
man.
try
The
there,
original
Hollywood. Don't be
football.
trying to bring your little
The
Hollywood
original
sport.
football, dude.
Don't even try. You've probably been watching that 7-on-7, the soccer tournament, haven't you?
Mm-mm.
With Pat McAfee, all those kids.
What?
Yeah,
Pat
you hadn't seen
McAfee's
it?
doing this?
Yeah, he's been on it. But there's like 64 teams trying to win $1 million. All these guys that used to play. Even Hope Solo is playing on the women's team. There's like 12 women's teams trying to win $1 million. But
Okay.
but it's 7-on-7. You haven't seen this?
Mm-mm.
Where have you been, dude? Tell
It's
me
like
where the
nowhere. I've
heck
been
you
watching
been.
softball. Softball, if anything.
No,
Bro,
you're a
you
softball
know where
fan.
I've
What'd
been.
you
I
just
just
tell me
told you.
earlier in the
I
green
told
room?
you. I was
You
like,
just told me in the green room, dude. What'd
yes,
you
I
tell
did
me?
tell you in the green room.
Yeah, you told me
In
something
that
that was
greenest
very
of
negative.
rooms where life is now good.
For
I
for
told
being
you.
for being a woman supporter, you told me something that I cannot repeat on this live thing. You said it's a woman's sport. That's what you told me. You said
No.
that. You said it.
No,
I'm calling you out.
don't be trying to gotcha moment me, bro. I
Gotcha,
did not.
buddy. You can't keep that one in your side pocket. Whatever. Yeah, we're taking you down
No.
now, Dr. Martin. You're
Look,
no longer we
that
are
is trying to soundbite somebody into a bad
whatever,
like
dude. I have it.
dude,
I
that's
saved
not
it somewhere.
cool. That's not cool.
Let me see.
Because
I think I
again, people like the joke has been made before, like if you were about to die, what's the last thing you would do? And like a joking way to respond to that is to say go to a WNBA game because then it'll feel like
Oh,
an
dude.
eternity.
Oh, dude, it is kind of funny. Let me tell you this too, because I was at Derek's baseball game. I was asking. We were watching the older kids after him, the 12U team, and I said, "Hey, where's your husband? Or where's your husband?" And she goes, "Oh, he's at the he's paying his bet." And I was like, "Paying his bet? What is he doing?" Yeah, remember he told you about he lost in his fantasy football league, so he went to a Dallas Wings game. All his buddies bought him Dallas Wings tickets, and they
Yeah.
made him sit courtside. And that was the
Courtside?
bet, dude. I was like,
I wouldn't hate that.
but I guess at the
I mean,
time,
I'm
remember,
joking. It's a joke, but like
right,
I
but
wouldn't hate that.
right, I wouldn't hate it now, but they didn't have Paige Buchers or Beakers, however you say her last name. And then this was last year when they booked it. They didn't know they were going to draft her, but he was all bummed about it. And then I just remembered, I was like, dude, that's pretty awesome.
I
Like
mean,
they
that's
bought him
funny
tickets.
and something that's like okay, Like I
Yeah.
just hate like the stuff that a lot of these fantasy football things, are not okay for respectable dads to be doing, like in terms of
No,
what they
no,
have to
no.
do.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't play because you would probably want to do like fantasy soccer or fantasy hockey or
I
fantasy
just
something.
I've talked to you about this. I
This
just don't buy into
fantasy
fantasy.
land.
Like I just think it's kind of weird to play a game based off like what's funny is that really all you guys who play fantasy football,
Don't put me in there.
especially the ones now lumping you in there, dude,
Yeah,
because
whatever, dude.
you know what's funny is actually if you think about it hard enough, I had not thought about this until just now. Y'all are a bunch of Dungeons and Dragons nerds.
You are.
No, you are.
You are the
You
Dungeons
are
and Dragons
posing
nerd.
as
I will
sports
breed
fans but you are basically playing a game based off statistics and numbers.
You were like, take this. I will use my
My
magic card.
fortitude scored
Here's my
1+
magic.
defense on the football field, and I beat you. Like,
No, dude, you don't even
yes.
know. You don't even know.
That
You're too
it is.
busy playing.
I thought about it now, man. You guys
No,
like
you're
your D&D, and you just don't want to admit that you want to play with the Gorgon or whatever.
whatever, dude. You're over at the mall playing magic cards with the dudes. The dude's like, hey, can you pass the pizza?
Andrew,
At
what
the
the
same
hell are you talking
time.
about? You're the one who
Nah,
says
bro.
you played Magic, bro.
Whatever,
I
dude.
didn't
You
play
played Magic
I never
by
I
yourself.
thought
You were
they
like
were
playing
freaking
both parts.
cool. Like, honestly, again, as a kid, I would look at them and be like, "Oh, those are pretty cool." But like, I never learned it. Those card games are too weird and like involved.
So I guess I'm smarter then. I guess I'm more intelligent then. I should have been. Yeah, my hobby's gonna pay off, dude. Being a
Bro.
OBGYN. Finally, I can't believe you haven't been watching it. You're just too busy. Tell the world what you've been doing, dude. Just tell
What
them.
have I been doing?
Apparently, you've worked for 27,000 hours straight, and
yeah,
no
so,
breaks, no potty
again, like,
breaks. Haven't taken a
technically,
dump.
yesterday was my last day of work as being clinical work at Hendrick Medical Center. I still am employed there as a contractor to staff their hospital staffing stuff, but it was my last day of clinic on Friday. More logistically, as we still saw some patients on Friday, but man, like, that was the roughest week I've probably had in ever. I don't know. Because it just had a lot of convalescence of factors that really made both the work really hard, as well as like just trying to, like, when you're a doctor. So I told one of my colleagues this a few days ago. I was like, you know how when like we go on vacation, like right beforehand, we like do a ton of stuff and like do all these surgeries, do all these deliveries, try to get everybody out of the way, try to address everything before we're gone, so that there's a very minimal chance somebody's gonna, like, there's an emergency and we're not there for it, or we're putting that on our colleagues. Well, and then you do that when you come back too. So you try as much as you can to create like this void area where there's not problems. Well, when you leave a practice to never return, that's a lot more work. That's like insane amounts of let's close every book chapter on every single thing you can. And then what ends up happening is you still have carryover. So then you got to have all these ways of like, because again, I care. And I don't mean to like point that out, but it's like, I think some other people, it might be easier, but like, I'm going to try to invest it. Like for my laborist shifts now with people that didn't find a doctor or anything, like they're coming in while I'm the laborist at the hospital, and I'm going to keep doing their prenatal care. Because I'm just like, I'm not going to like let them not have a way of getting the things I feel like they deserve. And it was only through the fact that I'm leaving, which is not their fault. It's and I shouldn't feel bad for it, but I still feel like I owe that as much as I can. Like that's my job. My job is to take care of you. So just put a lot of like extra struggle into like every patient. So it's like every person I'm trying to like get every box checked off. We had some laborist shifts. You know, obviously when you go in or out of a new group, you get absolutely mollywopped by like, oh, call for you for the next 3 weeks straight. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, let's make this guy work as much as we can on the way out, or when you're on the way in of a new place, it's like, let's work this dude out. You know, so it's like either way, I got screwed by that. So I think it took like 5 or 6 call shifts that I didn't sign up for necessarily like that, right on the last 10 days. And then we have that laborist system, the thing I still work for here independently, where they're supposed to be there. And if they're not, then you're now responsible as the backup for whatever's going on in the hospital as well. So all the triages that come to the hospital, L&D, or anybody's patients who they can or won't be able to make their delivery, that's me. So I joked with people last week, like I literally slept in the hospital call bed on L&D easily more than I did at home with my wife and son, which I never wanted to do. Like that's never been how I idealized my life in any way. So it was just more affirming to me again that like I just needed to, you know, yet he persists, just like Just like our Senator Elizabeth Warren up in Massachusetts, man. Yet I persist.
Sorry,
Uh,
dude. Never heard of her. Sorry about
oh
that.
well,
Never have.
she's pretty smart. Anyways, the next thing was too that would add on top of that, and my office can attest to this, is like every single person that I would see, uh, it's just been emotionally tough. Like I don't even think I had the time to really like process, if that makes any sense. Like I was so busy trying to get everything done that I felt like I wasn't even allowed to be aware and reflect on my own emotions about it and like think about how this is the end of something for me that's been 9 years strong. And like, I mean, I told Katie, I have never lived anywhere as long as Abilene after 18. Right. So like I was born and raised in Houston, but every step along this journey for me to become an OBGYN and to then practice it, like I never spent more than 4 or 5 years there usually. So it was definitely like weird because I don't think I really had even totally let it sink in, even as I had been kind of starting to pack up my office a week or two ago. Like it just, and so again, kind of moving on from that though, and the reason for that is because there's just like a lot of patients coming in, either patients from like long from the past that somehow a letter came to them saying, "Hey, Martin's leaving." It's like now they want to try to get a last minute appointment. I'm seeing names from years ago, or just kind of random moments where a patient would want to talk about how appreciative they were um, for me and how upset they are that I'm moving away, and what are they going to do? Um, I don't know. I mean, the best example I have of this is this one lady. I think she came. She is not born and raised in America. She was. Oh, I can't really talk about it. I guess. Yeah, because HIPAA. So I can't really say anything. But there were just some really amazing stories of people and their appreciation and the. I I think I like honestly again. I only got a little emotional one time, and it was because of that lady, because she just was like, you could just tell it was, she just expressed such a deep sense of appreciation, even at me just, like, being there for her and her family, um, and you just forget kind of what you're doing is important. I mean, even, you can forget that even while doing it and even while being super busy, and, like, you just don't even have time to like appreciate that sometimes when you're that busy. I don't like that. I don't like that. That's why I don't. That's why again, moving into a system, I feel like I have a little more autonomy and control over how my time is both better given to patients, but also protected. Like I think that's one of the things is like I tell moms a lot is that the oxygen air mask thing. People use that for so many different things, but like it is best used to try to explain like um, I think women in their family unit tend to very often be like the person who will do everything in their way to like put others in front of themselves. They are the glue of the family. And so I think doctors, in a lot of ways, in a purest sense of the word, are caregivers. And so our job is to give of ourselves to our patients. And it is appreciated for the most part. It doesn't have to be though. Uh, but you always put others in front of yourself. And then the second you start to think about your own and your wants and your needs and what you've done, that's what's weird. That's when you can get a little bit emotional because I just don't even do that very much. I don't think about myself in the job. Outside the job, of course I do. You know me very
Oh, yes, I do, Dr. Martin. Oh,
well.
yes, I do.
So yeah, it was a very busy week. A lot of work to have been done, and here we are. Now I don't have that anymore. Now and now we're still reflecting. I mean, me and Katie kind of went up to the office on Saturday because I just wanted to kind of like show her how things were looking, and like it definitely, she said it made her a little emotional as well. But we'll miss Abilene, but it's never like we're not going to be gone. She's going to keep her job remotely to here, so she'll be back here regularly, and I think I'll stop by every so often just to say hello to all the people that that's not probably why I'll actually be here. I'll probably be here for one reason or another, and then hopefully I get to see some familiar faces.
I definitely will never see you again. So I won't ever see you again. Sorry about that, man.
That's okay.
You know,
I
our
kind of
relationship
expected it,
now is
and
strictly remote, and
mhm.
I won't even know what you look like from the waist, from your head down. Or I guess, how would I say this correctly? Like I just head up, I guess,
You
or
only know me from my waist down, dude.
just your waist down, bro.
Dad?
What'd you say? What was that?
Well,
Um,
yeah. You want to know one of the best Bob Marley quotes?
don't worry. Oh, that wasn't him.
No, I mean, again, but see, doesn't that make sense that that's Bob Marley? But like, there's a Bob Marley quote that will just like, it's so perfect. Um, and again, I'm not against people getting it, like we talk about like, let's go get fit, let's work hard, let's do all this stuff, let's make money. Let's make money doing whatever. But some people are so poor that all they have is money.
Some people are so poor that all that he said this. Some people are so poor that all they have is money.
Yeah.
Mm,
You
mm.
get it, bruh? Do
I,
you
I
get it?
I get it, and
I Yeah, boy, come on, dude.
I
I
get it.
love
No, I'm
that
not
quote.
hating on Bob Marley. I'm not hating on Bob Marley, and he did a lot more than I've ever done.
Yeah, tell me what
Um,
Bob Marley did real quick there, Andrew.
he just did meat stuff, and I don't know.
Hey, what's the name of his kid who's like as big as he is? I mean, not big as he is, but come on, that's the name of
I'm
his
sure it's
son?
Marley, Bobby Marley,
Ziggy.
Ziggy Bobby
Ziggy
Marley,
Marley, not Ziggy Bobby.
Ziggy Bob.
It's not Ricky Bobby, bro.
Ricky
Not
Bobby, baby Jesus, thank you, baby Jesus, thank you.
God.
No, dude, I know you're a quote guy. I'm not a big quote person. I
Dude,
just,
I love that
you
quote.
quotes.
I read a book about Bob Marley a few years ago 'cause I just think he's like he lived it, man. Like I just think like guys who you can say that all day, but I mean again, there's a million quotes about actions speak louder than words, right? Like don't believe anybody's words. Look at what they do.
Oh,
Um,
dang! Look,
well,
what are they doing? Like, What are they? Is it? Are you talking about like
I mean, I
people?
think there's a good example or two, if not many, from the reason why I felt like it was time to do this in my own way in medicine too, right? Which was that I was told a lot of things. Um, the actions didn't really reflect that from the people that told me those things.
Oh,
Um,
so now we're okay. Let's keep going. What else would you like to say, Dr. Martin? Is
and
there
I'm
anything
not going
else?
to do that right now.
Oh, sorry.
Well,
Who was, what are you, what are you getting at here, pal?
we will always be ready and willing to talk on here. I am not trying to. I think it's good if we can talk about ways that healthcare can be better.
Oh,
But I don't think it's helpful for any time on this that I should just kind of like try to bring down anything else I mean, again, what I would say in general too, like let's be very specific about this, is that I I am not an Abilenian and I never thought I would live in Abilene. I've never lived in a town this small. It was kind of actually a scary proposition when I moved here. Uh, I love this place. I do love it. It's not like my 100% cup of tea, but like like truly, I wouldn't sit here and like list off ways I don't like Like I like Abilene. Um, I also don't know if there's a hospital or healthcare system or method of employment that would have been as good for me as the one I'm about to leave after 9 years.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
it did everything for me to make me into the physician and the man that I am today,
Ooh,
um, that is capable and where he is. So, again, that's why I kind of had to temper anything I would say in the moment and in this year and in the last year. With there's a lot of positive. Um, so not even related to Abilene, related to just like stuff in Abilene. Like I still am grateful to everything. Grateful to Hendrick. Grateful to the people I work with at Hendrick. Um, I love working with pretty much everybody. Um,
pretty much
Pretty much,
everybody.
pretty much
Pretty much.
99.99999%.
Oh, shoot! Except for that point one. You know what we're talking about. We're talking about you.
Yeah. But
You. You know what you're talking about.
that doesn't mean that that's the
You know.
reason
You know who
I'm
we're talking
leaving
about.
or anything else.
Ah.
Ah, okay.
Okay, dude. I know.
Anyways,
Just let it out. You know you want to. This is a
just say the
place.
name.
Just say what his or her name was, and let's just move on. Or
Nice try,
them,
dude.
or they.
Apparently you were right. I was gonna get in big trouble about that name last week.
I told you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude. If I
you're
had
like,
said my
"Look,
baby's
I'm
name,
the
I'd have been in
man
trouble,
of the
man.
house. I'm in charge. That
I
my
can do what I
son's
want.
name is." And I
What
said,
is it? What is his
and I
name?
went, "Don't you know? I would never, even
Never.
if I knew it." I told Katie, I was like, "I didn't know your kid's name. I would never know it. I don't even know it."
Well, hey, and since we're kind of speaking about um
Katie.
the move, I actually on the podcast today I was going to share some photos of the new office because my partner's already sent me my name's all posted up everywhere outside the office on Weatherford, and it's like
It
really
says
cool. I'm really excited
it
about
says
it. No, my
STEWART.
God.
Would you be pissed, bro?
I would tell them to correct it,
If
but
it
I would
said
not be pissed. No.
Stuart,
I was very excited to see
Stuart,
this.
Stuart Martin.
Okay, so while I pull this up and get this figured out.
Let's see this. What do you got
Okay,
there?
it's gonna take me a minute 'cause I gotta get it on the
Come on,
phone
man.
on the computer.
So you're moving away to Brock, Texas. You have a house
No.
in Brock. Oh, you don't. So you're just moving. Okay. Well, are there any realtors out there that can help Dr. Martin in the
Oh,
Brock,
we've got a
Weatherford
great
area?
realtor.
Well,
We just don't, man. Like
uh,
our problem is houses are sitting on the market right now, man. It is
sitting,
definitely a
dude.
buyer's market.
I hear it's time to buy. So let's. I hear those interest rates are really good right now.
Exactly. That's another complicating factor for it
I'm
too.
sure it's great right now. And you're selling your home for listed price at you're going to sell it to me for $99,000. Is that correct? Is that what
Yeah,
we
the
decided on?
low rate
Cool. All
per
right.
month for a year.
You said for per month?
Yep,
I thought you said it was for the year.
per month for the year.
No, no, no. You said
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
year.
yeah. No, no, no.
You said just for one
Yeah.
time only purchase, just the single time.
Yeah. All right. Look, dude, if you're serious about buying the home, anytime, let me know. If you're going to come over and just be a hooligan about this, like every other person who's looked at our home, which is like 30 freaking people now, don't get me started on freaking real estate etiquette at this
Oh
point.
shoot, dude.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, give me one example. Like, what does one person want? Like that you're like, what? How dare they?
Well, I don't even care if they're like, "Hey, we're not interested in the home," or like they don't whatever. But like the way our like house showings work is that like we get sent a message like, "Hey, this," it basically puts a time that they want to come over and look at your home. And I mean, we had to have our realtor actually put a restriction of don't try to book one for less than 2 hours in advance because someone tried to do that like one time. And
Nice.
I told Katie, I'm like, we cannot handle that. Like, she's a nurse, I'm a doctor. We live across town, or like we live across town from where we work. Even if it's now, it's like 2 hours notice to like prepare your home for strangers to walk through it is not very easily done all the time. So that was the first like little caveat, like, let's come on, like I can't have this. Um, the next thing became these people who would like book the home showing, and I can't get Katie off of her like OCD, like super. She just like really wants like every time we got to get the house super clean to the point of like I can't.
She got you on your
It's
knees?
it's
She
a
got you on
day
your
process. Like I swear, it's like half a day. She'll sit there and like clean, yes,
you're over
and like
there?
pick everything up, and like I'll be sitting in the living or the theater room here, like watching a movie, and here she comes in with the vacuum, like ring. It's like
Yeah.
a day after the maid or something. So she's cleaning up. She'll light candles. She'll bake, cook. She's like trying to do all this stuff. They'll book it for like 2-3 days from that showing day, and she'll do all these things. Hour before the showing, cancel.
Nice.
Yeah. And that's not been like 1 or 2 times. And I get that you may not need to see the home anymore or whatever, but like you also knew more than an hour before. Um,
Dang.
and I just, again, it wouldn't probably affect me the same ways it does now, because when I was selling like my first home in Abilene, I was single, and I didn't do all this stuff for the home showing. Like I just kind of like, picked up everything off the floor, like try to make it like not. I I have looked at homes now too that are lived in, and there's sometimes some embarrassing level of non-preparation done. Um, but I will say, in our example, like for us, I would have done less most of the time when we'd prep a house than Katie would. And so I probably wouldn't get as upset if somebody canceled all of a sudden. Be like, I'm coming, sweet, nobody's coming over, we don't have to leave. But Katie gets like so upset about it. But I think it's because, again, that would be much more dick if the other person is like trying to get a home ready for you to look at because they want you to buy it. And then you're like, nah, never mind.
Yeah, okay, so you're saying when I bought my house, there was nothing in it. So you're saying that
Lived in houses are a totally different deal with home showings, man.
but it
Yeah.
doesn't
See,
make any
like,
sense to me because if I was walking into a house and I know that, yeah, my house isn't gonna look like your house once we're done. I think the bigger thing would be like, okay, if I saw like the doors or a door, what I would look at now if I was to buy another house would be things like the windows or the doors or how things open and close, how many outlets are on this, how many
mhm,
outlets are
mhm.
here, what is going on in this part. Okay, cool. This room is this big, or this toilet see, or I look around every place. So you're thinking, so people actually go, oh, it's not clean on this side, or the bed's not made,
Well,
but it's not their
there's a
bed.
lot of psychology that goes into home showings and real estate buying, because look, the thing with real estate is that it becomes emotional because it's your home. Or you want, like, you're manipulating both sides of this thing. And that's what I've always told Katie too, is like when we find our home, we have to be non-emotional about it. Like, so that's how you get people to spend too much when they shouldn't, is because they're just so connected to that home now that they can't see themselves anywhere else, and they have to have it, and they become illogical about what they should spend on it, so they don't like kind of give an appropriate bid. On the other hand of that, you have trying to sell it. Sellers have a problem of overestimating their home value because it's their home. And so ultimately there is this just really obvious and known sentimental value increase in what people want to list their homes for. That's not going to matter to the person buying your home. That's not sentimental to them. They're going to look at it as like, why would you think you get to have this much money for that? But then from your perspective as the seller, there's like a lot of things revolve around the idea of trying to make any person who walks through your home start to see themselves in it as their home, right? So you have to do a very good job of almost depersonalizing the home. They even talk about whether you should take out all the photos of you and your family if you're going to be living there at the time. Like it doesn't have to be your style. Everyone goes into these homes going, okay, like none of this furniture is going, and you can easily picture that. It has to be that it's not like when we're talking about gross and not preparing and stuff like that, like leaving a bunch of junk in the sink and stuff like that, people get turned away from getting into their fantasy of this is my future home.
Okay. So I know this is emotional for you guys, and I know you're not there, but I'm a comic. So
Mm-hmm.
why don't you just like hire actors and put them in every room? Like, if it is emotional, so like they show up to the house and out in the front yard, you have like families barbecuing, like, hey, this could be you outside barbecuing with your family, and then
I
you got
mean,
people in the pool and they're like having the best time, and then in the bedroom they're like, shh, there's something going on in this room
yeah,
right now. This could be you
that
guys,
that
married
is
couple.
unsettling, Andrew. That's just like the sellers if they were to stay during a home showing and just sit and stare at you
Yeah,
as you
dude, you
walked
just walk
around their
around with
home.
them. You're
Like,
like,
yeah,
oh, what questions would you like to? What goes on in this
no,
room?
no.
Well, honey, we, this is where me and Dr. Martin enjoy our quality time in this room. Really? What kind of quality time do y'all enjoy in here? We like to,
Answer
um,
it, Andrew.
we enjoy our book reading of the months. But
um,
I get it, dude. I get it. I understand where you're coming from,
it's just
and
frustrating. I mean,
it's
like,
frustrating. Yeah, I
no, yeah,
get it. I
it's just
understand.
the best time to sell your home is when you don't need to, and we need
Mm,
to.
yeah.
So I don't know what to
Mm.
say. I mean, like it's all gonna be fine. I keep telling Katie that. I mean, she's very. We are good balances to each other. I think like when I want to be anxious, which is very rare anymore, or nervous or like concerned about something, like she tends to be a pretty calming presence for me, but she's just a calming presence for me overall. She's made me calmer to be able to calm her down because she is literally, it's weird. She helps like keep me very even keeled and
Mm.
low key. But she is pretty like, uh,
Pretty.
she
She's
overthinks
very
things.
pretty.
Yeah, she like worries about things, and I have to be the one that's kind of like, it'll be okay. You don't need to worry about that. We'll get this figured out. Like, um, but it still doesn't really help her that much. I still haven't completely unlocked the trick. I definitely know it's not to say calm down. If any guy needs help with
Ooh.
that one,
I say it all the time. You
don't
need to
tell
calm
your
down.
wife to calm down.
I tell
I
you
knew
all the
that one
time. I'm
going
like, you need
into
to
like
calm down.
that's rule number one, dude. Rule number one.
What if they tell you need to calm down? Because I know how emotional you can get. You're a
Yeah, that
little,
doesn't really help me either, man. I mean,
yeah,
again, maybe it's my working with women for so long that's made me like
like
have some of
like
the
a
same
like
sensitivities.
a
But
woman.
well, so
Like
I
a
did talk to
woman.
another male OB about recently. We were talking about working in a field basically where we're surrounded by women all day. And because I was bringing up how there was like this huge drama among like some of the front office staff of one clinic and the back office staff of another clinic. And like the fact that they weren't going to come to lunch anymore that was provided by a rep. They were going off campus, but they were the ones who picked this lunch place. And like it just turned into this whole thing where there was like tears, I think, at some point or something else. And I'm like, I, I just sometimes it blows my mind what people can get upset about and where drama can originate because it's just not worth it. I do feel sometimes like if I had one or two other dudes like that just sat in the office or worked in the office somewhere with me, I kind of just shoot them a look of like,
I do it all the time, dude.
oh, do you?
Yeah, I'm not. There's no emotions here whatsoever.
Well, I mean, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I just think guys tend to let things roll off their back a little bit better about little small things, whereas like sometimes a lady can be like, "I'm not gonna let this go."
I will get you.
Yeah.
But you know what? We won't talk about them because they're
No, we're
perfect.
not.
Women
Come
are
on,
perfect.
come on.
Perfect women. And
Um.
I love them.
All right. So I do. I feel like we end the show a little bit later because we got plenty of time right now. But I want to talk about two things we got to hit. We got to do like a few vids. I feel like we did this in reverse order today, but I always feel like we end on vids, and that's a good way to go too. So I wanted to talk before that
before.
Because I'm starting to kind of, and you guys better prepare yourselves because in the weeks to come, Dr. Martin is a lot more chill in his life. So he gets a lot more time to prepare for you
Yeah, he's gonna
ladies
show up
every
with a
week.
fish and he's gonna cut it right in front of us. Yeah, Mr. Lumberg, sir.
Okay. Are we ready for Education Corner with Dr. Martin, OBGYN board certified? Blah, 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 blah.
Blah blah blah.
All right. Word salad.
Here,
Okay.
let's hear it.
So there was a new article published in Contemporary OBGYN, which is a decent journal. It's good
Wow.
academic studies. It's just not the
Dude, I
preeminent
write in that journal every week.
Huh?
I'm the journalist of that journal.
You are not.
I am, dude.
Stop
I
claiming
write
you're
in
an
it every week.
OBGYN.
I do it. I told you it's my freaking hobby.
Okay. So there is a new finding from a study that says the length of time to a meal after you wake up is linked to caloric intake in pregnant women. So what does that mean? Well, what that means basically is that there's a positive association reported between the timing of the first meal in the first trimester and the last eating episode to bedtime interval. It showed significant associations in early and mid pregnancy between delaying the first meal after waking up with both higher calorie intake and shorter sleep duration. So they're going to, I mean, again, this is a very early study. It only had, what did they have for like, I mean, they had small numbers. So again, you're going to need to really beef up the numbers on these to like make sure it's true. And it's just kind of one of those interesting little factoids. I don't know that you can really do too much to manipulate it that well, but let me read some from it here just so we get some more information.
These are faster readers.
So it's inferred that the timing of maternal food intake has the potential to influence maternal and fetal circadian rhythms, fetal development during pregnancy, and the subsequent metabolic health of the offspring. This is still not fully understood. So, data has also indicated a link between sleep quality and weight gain distribution during pregnancy. Therefore, investigators conduct a longitudinal study. So, essentially, the later you wake up in the day, you yeah. The later you wake up in the day, the less likely you are to have short sleep and higher calorie intake.
Damn,
Which is interesting.
Isn't that like really in reality of life though?
What?
I mean, if regular people that don't have a baby,
What about them?
well, if I wake up later,
It doesn't have anything to do with waking up later. It's
that's
sleep
what I heard.
duration.
Well, you just said sleep. I'll let you continue. Just go ahead.
Now, okay. So, in essence, you wake up, you wait to eat for a little while longer. It's almost like what's that freaking fasting, right? Intermittent fasting.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
So, I think again, this has useful information for pregnant women and doctors to be mindful of, but like it also could quickly go off the rails, which is why I think it's kind of like one of these interesting and good to know kind of informative pieces. And there's more to be seen here, but it's not like going to revolutionize how we take care of pregnant women and start telling them to not eat until lunch. Like that's not good for you or the baby either. The point is that you shouldn't just wake up right away and put something in your stomach right away. Right. So you delay interval for, I mean, however length of time. I'm not gonna. Again, I don't want to sit here and read a study ever, Andrew. I already read through it, but it's kind of like the way they word it's a little bit funky. So essentially, you wait a few hours till after you wake up to eat. It's gonna both reduce the overall amount of calories you intake over the pregnancy, and it's also going to increase the chance you have better sleep quality because it also the other thing that is impactful for this is the interval between last meal and going to bed. So you basically want to try to separate your eating as much as possible from when you're sleeping.
Gotcha.
And that's beneficial.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I've been wondering about that for
you should
a
be,
little
because
while
you know what?
with my
You were
pregnancy.
Mr. Popcorn Gallery in there for sure.
Yeah, I definitely. After I wrote that article, I was thinking to myself, I'm sure it'll be on the podcast episode later.
Next time, send it to me for review, dude. I'll be happy to
I
red ink that
try
up
to send
for
it
you.
to doctors that are currently employed by hospitals, and I don't really want to get into
I currently have privileges.
Sorry,
soon
dude.
to be it too, bro.
Contract labor versus actual labor.
Oh,
a little
contract
different.
labor.
Yeah, that's what you said earlier. You're like, I'm a contract laborist. So I heard contract. They could be like, about that contract. Let me go ahead and, sorry about that. We're gonna go ahead and let you. We're gonna rip that contract up. And see you later there.
That's so funny.
I'll send it to you in about a month when you have your job. When you're actually at your job, I think, right? In a month.
What, the next article?
Yeah, I'll send you the next one that I write.
Okay.
Did you know the world record for playing video games without a break is 138 hours?
Set by Stuart Martin.
For Ron Burgundy. Have you ever played video games that long?
I have definitely played for 24 hours.
This was 138. Could you do 138?
That's dude, that's insane. Honestly, I probably played for the better part of 36 in my heyday, of college maybe, or during med school on a break. But I still go grab food.
I had a college
36 hours.
I had a college roommate, dude. I had a college roommate that he would literally wake up, play video games for 2 or 3 days, and then he would go to sleep and he'd wake up and he'd go, "Hey, what's up, Bustos? What day is it?" Bro, it's Sunday. Oh shoot, I've been asleep for 2 days straight. And I'm like, you have been, Mike. You have been.
Well, he probably wondered why you didn't call the police to make sure he was alive.
No, dude, we knew because he was up. He had a fridge in his room, and he would drink before energy drinks was a thing. I guess he
Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew. That's all he drank.
Mountain Dew, dude. That's the gamer's beverage of choice. And he had it. I never drank that really.
Oh, he drank it like crazy, and then I don't even know how he graduated school because he was one of those guys that was like, "Hey guys, I got my loan today. Y'all want to go eat? Can someone give me a ride?" He didn't have a car, so he'd be like, "Can you guys give me a ride and I'll pay for dinner?" Or something.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna play video games all the time. I don't even know if he ever. Oh gosh, he'd play It was back when they would play the Xbox, Halo, and then they also would play GameCube. And there was Resident
He wasn't
Evil
even into the the online games, the ones that pull people into there was that. I think it was in Korea or Japan. They had that baby die from neglect to
I remember
a couple of gamer they were gamer husband and wife.
Yeah, I think he did the desktop games too. But I just remember watching him play the GameCube, and Resident Evil was only on the GameCube at that time.
Yeah.
It was during that.
I just I don't understand that you could play. I did not have the most I would play games up until WoW, which we're not going to get into.
Let's get into that. Let's let people know how many video games you've played hours wise. How much you let them know?
I'll happily do that. But again, WoW is a whole freaking discussion. But growing up, the way our generation grew up playing video games, if you were hardcore about it, is you'd have a sleepover. Friends would come over once it was too stupid to be calling it a sleepover at age 15. And they'd come over for the night and you would play until different games until maybe 2, 3 was easy. 5, 6 definitely was the regular thing. And then you'd all kind of pass out until the morning time. You felt none of the fact that you probably got 3 hours of sleep when your friend's parents or your parents woke you all up, and you just went about your weekend from there. But we just didn't go okay, I am so dopamined into this that I can't get away from it. And there are games to this day that are like that for me now.
Ooh.
Because they have gotten so good at figuring out how to just get you glued to it. Again, now
And
I'm a freaking adult with a kid
yeah,
that's a doctor and a wife. There
yep.
you go. Okay,
And
I got you.
so you put
So,
all your video games up for sale, and your consoles are now on sale on Facebook Marketplace
thank you for.
because you're about to be a, what would you say? You said last week you were going to be a father again. Is that right?
Yes, I am.
So you're going to have 2 kids, which require
However, I
your.
will say a little Sam was given an old controller yesterday because he
Oh,
was in
you're
this
starting it,
office
huh?
with me.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
you're doing that already. You're like, hey, oh, you got it, son. You're doing good. You're
Well, okay,
killing
because when
them.
he
You
comes
know.
in there, sometimes I'm like playing or whatever, and he'll like try to bring me a book, and he just keeps bringing you books, right? So I like even if I read it one or two, he just like he puts one down, he comes and brings another.
Yeah.
And I was telling him, my mother-in-law, like it's funny because if I don't even acknowledge him, like while I'm playing, I'm like, okay, Sam's good. He takes the book and he just like shove it in your face. Like, here it comes. And I'm like, okay, Sam, all right, let's find you something to do. I was like, you want, because he's always trying to like touch the controller too.
And you get mad, don't you? You're
I
like, get
don't,
away,
I
get
don't,
away.
I
This
don't.
is mine. My mom and dad bought this for me, not for you to play.
I'm 38 years old,
It's
dude.
all,
You
I
think
know
my
how
mom?
you are,
Okay.
dude. I know how
Anyways,
you are. You're like, get your own game, buddy. Yeah,
yes,
whatever. Poor kid, dude.
I dug out one of the like 6 or 7 controllers I've retired. Right, I'm like, this thing has stick drag or some shit, and
Dude.
I pulled it out and I was like, look, Sam, it's your controller. Like, here you go.
Oh,
And so I hand it to him, and then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get back to the game. I'm gonna play this game right now.
yeah, and you're like, you're
And
killing it. You're killing them, Sam. You're
no,
doing good,
no, no.
man.
So here's the thing. Again, kind of like start of the game. Like, all right, Sam's good. Sam's good. You know. So I'm like, all right, let's go. And I start playing. Sam's right here. I see him in the periph, but I can't really see what's going on with him. And you know, I'm doing good this game, dude. I am, bruh. I'm playing Wolverine, right? So I'm like, I'm doing pretty good. And then all of a sudden, shit just starts going haywire. Like Xbox screen comes up, like things are flying everywhere, like directions going everywhere. And
Yeah.
I'm like, what the? And
He's
then I looked down and he had turned the controller on, and somehow it was still linked to the Xbox. And like he was touching, like he was hitting buttons and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, Sam. He's like,
he already knows,
yeah.
dude.
And I was like, stop. So I turned it off. But what like I would keep trying to figure out how to like disconnect it from the Xbox. I couldn't get it to disconnect. And he even like it gave it back to him one more time. It's like, oh, maybe it's because I gave it to him powered on. I can't remember whether I did or not. And so I turned it off and gave it back to him. And I look over because it starts happening. And I look over and I go, Sam. And like you could tell he was like,
Yeah, dude. It's in his blood, video games. Way to go, dude. You're reading books to him, and then you're like, here's your video game.
well, bro, yeah, screen time's a thing. I don't think video games are necessarily bad for
We
you, though,
know.
man.
We know. We get it, nerd. I mean, Dr. Martin, we get it. You
Yeah,
love those games.
I like my fantasy
Yeah, I
football.
just like to get in there and play. Yeah. Oh, dude,
Um,
I got to tell you this quote, though. This is cool. So, kids are funny. So, I was around, this was got me to think of this. I was around Derek's little baseball team over the weekend, and they got like these Boomba sweet bags that they have
mhm,
now, and then
mhm,
they got these Bruce Bolt batting gloves, and like you probably don't know any of these things, but they're expensive. Like they're really
mhm.
expensive. This is what probably you probably had over there in Houston with your little,
I think
kids and
TPX was like the big little
yeah,
league
TPX
bat.
was big back
Yeah.
then. So equivalent to that. So
Okay.
anyways, the bags they look like baseball. So the print that's on them. And one of the kids already has one of those bags.
Mhm.
And so he's like, they're all presenting it to him and they give him his bag and we're talking to him afterwards, me and another coach and I never heard this before, but he was like, "Oh man, yeah, I got a bag." And it's basically like hitting the refresh button. And I was like, what? Hitting who says that? But that's what
And
they say now. He just like hit the refresh. And I was like, wait a minute, that's like a video game term, or that's like
well,
a
yeah, it's
movie
just the way
term, or
they think,
yeah.
right?
He was
Because
like,
again,
yeah,
they don't
just hit the
even
refresh.
when
I
they do
was like,
hand gestures, they don't do hang up the phone. They do what do they do? They go, "This is hang up the phone."
yeah, yeah,
This.
yeah,
Who thinks that that's hang up the phone?
yeah,
Like, but
yeah.
they don't have any reference point for the old hand gesture.
No.
They woke up, or they woke up. They were born, and literally, this is what happens. You
Yep.
hang up the phone.
Yeah, dude, refresh button, dude. That's what he said. He was like, I got to refresh. Basically, he got a new bag that looks the same, but he was like, yeah, I got to refresh. And I'm like, refresh. That's funny. Anyways, that's funny to me.
Okay.
It
was funny.
It was fun. You're just in a bad mood.
I'm not in a bad mood.
Sad, bad mood.
Okay, well, I have just the remedy to put us in a better mood. We need a Bella Ramsey video now.
Oh, that's wrong.
And in celebration, because we're going to end this week talking about, we're going to be here next week. So we're going to be here next week on Father's Day doing our recording. I don't know that we're really going to necessarily take a Father's Day huge take or anything. So I just thought like this week we could end by talking about Father's Day.
I don't believe in Father's Day.
Unsurprised. I don't know why you had to say that right now.
I just don't believe in it, dude.
Give me a second, and I will let you say your weird thing about Father's Day.
You go
ahead. Both of us definitely are fathers. We have different opinions, I guess, on believing in Father's Day or not. It definitely happens, so I don't know whether it matters whether you believe in it or not.
Let me just hear yours, because it's going to be emotional or sensitive or something.
It's not like what I just want to kind of actually do, because I know a lot of people struggle with this stuff, is because again, I come from a non-gifting family. Like basically without getting into it too much, I was basically given everything I could ever need to succeed. Andrew, we got to keep it going.
We're still going.
Stop reacting to everything. So the opinion was like, what do you need? And I really didn't care because again, it was true. Like if I needed something for a team, if I wanted a new video game, I got it. The expectation was that stuff would go away if I stopped doing well in school, etc. So like, again, there were ways it was done, but we just didn't give gifts a lot. Anyways, I am now married into a family of ladies who are just absolutely the most thoughtful people I have ever been around. And they're always trying to like give gifts and show their love for family, which is really incredible. And I do think Father's Day, I think men in general, because I know they've told me before they struggle with getting me gifts, just because it's tough to know. It is tough to know what to get me for a gift. There are things that you can get and like you can hit a nail on the head, but like it's just hard for me to even know what I want in some ways. But they do it almost like with perfection. Every time I get a gift is like, dang, that is the gift-sized hole you have just filled in my life with that gift. Like that's a perfect thing to get me. So I thought fathers and men in general are also pretty dang hard to buy for. Like if I had to pick which gender to buy for, I wouldn't want to buy for men either. It's just so like hard, honestly. I think men are less available about like, oh, this is something I really want, but I don't think I can get it. And will you get that for me for my birthday? Like that kind of like, that's what women will tend to do. Shut up. Now you're not even saying anything. You're just smiling at me, bro. Like, don't you agree?
Dude. You told me to shut up, so I'm just gonna smile at you and listen to how you. I mean, you've told me this before. You're like, hey man, can you really get that for me? I really want it.
Yeah. So I only would say, and again, the other thing I've noticed is with our podcast, unsurprisingly, we have a large majority female audience. There is one or two fanboys of yours that I've noticed. They're always like, give us more Andrew.
Of me?
Their interests include Little League Baseball and Andrew Bustos.
They're like interests are manly men who share nothing about their life and Little League Baseball.
That still to this day reminds me of the Family Guy and that old pervert that lives next to him. Where he's like, what are we going to watch today? And then they're like, next up, Little League World Series. And he's like, jackpot.
Dude, that's wrong. I am not a pervert. Gosh, dang it.
Anyways, okay. So I thought I would mention that God, some good gift ideas. Like one that we have talked about off the podcast. I don't know if we have on it. A great brand in terms of quality clothing that is not, it's expensive, but it's not crazy
Okay.
expensive.
Okay.
And
Okay.
it's stylish. It usually looks very good on, as long as you are not, I mean, I just don't know. I haven't seen a lot of big people in it. Like you got a big beer belly. I don't know how it's, because it's not tailored, but it's like a little more like it built for somebody with an average body distribution, I guess. Um, but they're very flattering clothes. They make all different types of clothes. They're mainly more of a male type clothesline. Is Psycho Bunny. I've been buying them for years. My family started buying me for them, like stuff from them for a lot of my gifts, and I always love this stuff. It's always super high quality, like kind of cloth or whatever, and it's always like cool clothes that are just like easy to wear and look good too. So like honestly, I'm gonna model for you today, dude. Like I just put these on. Like these, look at these, like they're nice cloth linen shorts, dude, and they're so breathable, and they just like.
You look great on you, Dr. Martin.
But I think it's a great brand. I just wanted to plug them in case you're last minute gift shopping for your Father's Day gift. I think they're great. I get nothing out of this from them. They are just like I truly do like their clothes. FYI. Go ahead and say your take.
Oh no! I think it's great. So I'm wearing a thrift shop T-shirt, and it's from a. It was worn about 100 times before I wore it, and
I had those too.
and it only cost about maybe 25 cents. So
What about that hat, dude? That hat's something
Psycho.
else.
Well, this was a little league hat that I wore as when I coached the Yard Goats.
Yard cats.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what would you suggest for a Father's Day gift? Like, what do you think women
I
overlook?
I think it should be celebrated as a second Mother's Day versus Father's Day.
Well, I don't disagree with you
No,
on that
you
necessarily.
agree.
No,
I
I
agree.
do agree for the most part.
Because I think
Again,
us fathers are lame sometimes. I think moms deserve more. They do a lot more. I think there's some crappy dads. I don't know too many crappy moms though. Do you know any
yeah,
crappy moms? I don't.
no,
I don't.
unfortunately, I
I
do.
know you do, but I don't. I don't know. I
But
know a lot of
I
great
would
moms.
again echo your sentiment completely. I mean, I think I wasn't even sure if I wanted kids in life at one point along the way, and I realized basically the reason that changed so much more was because of Katie and because she was what I knew I wanted my kids to have, which was a mother like her, and that was my mom too. And I just had never met a woman that made me certain that those kids would have that type of individual, that type of strong woman, that cared for them and would be there for them no matter what. I
Oh,
mean,
sweet.
and that, like I, without knowing that about Kate 100%, I know that's true for you too. I knew, like, it's just very clear that she's a very special lady for you and for y'all's kids too. Like, so I like,
Yeah. So
I think that's probably why we agree, is that we just know that they're like, everything is possible through them, basically, that our lives have actualized into. And
yeah,
there's no way it would be that way otherwise.
true that. So
Yeah.
Father's Day, don't buy me
Again, I think
anything.
it's
I don't
stupid. I
want
don't like
anything.
being celebrated ever. Like, again, there's a going away party for me among my colleagues next week. Like,
Whoa.
I don't really love that kind of thing to do, but I am gonna miss and cherish every one of them. But like, I just hate the like attention of it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like. I literally would have Irish goodbye, like the entire. I not my partners. Like I would have, if we didn't do this thing, I would have gone by and like individually talked to each. But like the hospital, like I even had administration coming over to the office on Friday, trying to like be like, so I guess this is it, and I'm like, yeah, I got patients in the room right now, and like they're just like staring at me, just awkwardly, like, I remember when you came here. I'm like, yeah, yep. And like, dude, I shit you not. I am usually the most like I love to give my patients like a side hug or like I'm a hugger. I like to give compassionate touch. Like I like to be able to just do that. I've always been a very comfortable person like that with the right ways of doing it nowadays, especially. Goodness, be careful. But like especially among my work associates or anybody like that, like I mean, I guess we don't hug on even a weekly basis, but like I would hug them if something was going on and they look like they need a hug. But these so I like it was just weird to me because like these people I've never like
Yeah.
I would never have hugged them. And eventually they both like, oh man, I hate that I'm saying this right now. I hate it because it was very just different to me that like people like how they may even make something about like me about not me. Like I don't know how am I saying
there's
that weird?
there's even like somebody there that you've never met, and they're like, "Hey, Dr. Martin, gosh, I remember the first time. It was a great time that I got to meet you, and you're just so passionate." And you're like, "Bro, I've never met you in my life."
Well, like, dude, like the IT guy was like, just heard you're now leaving, Dr.
The
Martin. He's like
IT
packing
guy.
up my fucking office, man. Like, I'm just like, yeah, okay. Like it starts to become about everybody else. And like, oh my God, why didn't you tell me you were leaving? I'm like, I haven't talked to you in 2 years. Like,
Oh
it
gosh.
doesn't
So
matter.
you care. Thank you
Right.
for
Like,
caring right now as I'm leaving.
well, okay, and I will be honest. Here's the other thing that like I told Katie this story about. I was like, people like coming over to my office trying to say goodbye and trying to like hug me and stuff, and it just seemed really weird. And she knew with one or in one example specifically, um, there's been times that like she knows that this person did not say the nicest things about her or me or something, and she's just kind of like that really grinds her gears to be fake about anything because that's just not the way. I mean, you have to be polite. Polite's not being
Yeah.
fake, but
Politeness.
uh, sometimes I wonder how much people like. Why I wasn't gonna worry about saying goodbye. Why do you have to come by and fake like a nice goodbye? It,
Mm.
mm,
All right,
what?
dude. So goodbye. Just want to tell you I just want to tell you,
Okay,
man, it's great seeing you.
okay.
And
Few videos.
let's see what you got.
They're quick. They're quick. Okay, so in celebration of Father's Day,
Thank you, fathers.
in celebration, let's start out with our Bella family.
Why you got to do this to her, dude? Or
Bro,
they? Why do you got to do this to they?
there's
Them?
nothing.
Why you got to do this to them, dude?
Look, there's nothing
That's
wrong
correct, right?
with
I'm
celebrating
saying that
her,
correct.
dude.
Correct, right? Am
Huh?
I saying that correctly? I just want to make sure I'm correct.
What are you correct about?
They, them. I'm saying that
Is she
right,
a
right?
they them?
Yeah, I believe it.
I'm
But
gonna be a
Here we go. Ready?
why, dude?
Here we go. Here we go.
dad. I'm gonna be a dad. I'm gonna be a dad. I'm gonna be a dad.
But why,
I'm gonna be a
dude?
dad.
Why did they do that to her?
I'm gonna
Dude?
be a dad.
I'm gonna be a dog.
I'm gonna be a dad.
I'm gonna be a dad.
I'm gonna be a dad. I'm gonna be a dad.
And I don't want to get into the. I guess what is it? Logistics of they, them. And I don't know. So why is she a dad? I don't get it. But anyways,
I
let's
mean,
just keep
it's like
going.
no.
Let's just keep going.
Look.
I just don't understand the dad
That
because it
was
could have
the
been like, I'm going to be a mom or a
No,
parent.
dude, it was so cringe.
Yeah, I don't know,
I'm
man.
just telling you, I am an OBGYN and I am very progressive in my like belief in some of that stuff in terms of allowing people to express themselves and to ask like what you do you. But like it is just weird. Like what gets me upset, and I think what gets so many people across America upset at times is when you feel like you are being preached to. When you feel like what you're watching is trying to promote a idea or ideology that you have to accept.
Yep.
And especially if you're trying to build a character and create attachment to that character in a TV show, and then you make this hugely discordant like phrase like that or something go on. Like people already hated that character in terms of its adaptation from the video game of Ellie. But then you make her say, "I'm gonna be a dad." It just sounds like completely fucking disconnected from like who that person would like. How would she think she's gonna be a dad? Like, you know what I mean? Like that's where it makes you just be like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, dude.
You
I
can
don't
still be a
know.
parent. You can still be like, why would you would not probably jump as a 18-year-old in post-apocalyptic America, even if you are a bisexual woman that your girlfriend is pregnant with another man's child, to I'm gonna be a dad. That just doesn't, it's
Yeah,
like it doesn't even make
true.
sense.
Thank you. I feel better about that.
No, like, but see, that's the problem too, is like both sides of these arguments a lot of times get so reductive about how they're like, that's wrong. She's allowed to say, but if you just like boil it down and you just have the ears to listen to it and hear it, just know when it's absurd and stupid.
Thank you.
That
I feel
was
better
stupid.
now. I feel
Okay.
better now talking to my doctor about it.
All right. This one I just remember being really funny, and I haven't watched in a few days, so bear with me. I just feel like it was something I really liked about Texas. I think this one reminded me of like, I love these little cartoons, but this one reminded me of like, I know it's going to remind my family too of how I am at a lot of restaurants we go to.
Would you like to hear about our specials tonight?
No, steak.
You don't want to hear them? They're delicious.
Then put them on the menu. Steak.
Wow. Can I just read them full?
Well, hurry up. Steak.
Okay, for our appetizer, we have a jumbo lump crab cake.
Jumbo lumps.
No, jumbo lumps. It's just like big.
Okay. Steak.
Yes, our soup of the day.
Soup. Do I look sick? I ain't sucking no chicken's noodles. Next.
Well, our seafood.
Shut
special.
up. 2, 3, 4. I don't want no jumbo lumps. I don't want to eat no fish. I don't want no soup, girl. I ain't a sick little bitch. Put some steak up in my mouth. Give me steak right goddamn now. Oh, boys. Thank you. Steak.
Fine, I'll just go get the steak.
Hey, where the restrooms at, miss?
It's actually Ms.
All right, well, where's the restroom? I need to piss.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
All right.
That's good,
And
That's awesome.
what else we got?
That's
I think,
good.
you know, I feel like maybe we just no more videos this week. I got one that I thought was just informative and interesting because I've always heard about this, and this is from the Your Mom's House podcast. You know, I love that podcast. So, wanted to kind of share a little Denver expose on this, and I've seen this for forever, and I think it's just so interesting. Have you heard about the Denver airport?
I don't do any traveling, dude, so I don't know.
Okay, well, the Denver airport is known for basically having like all these symbols and weird things around the airport structure that make people think it's like part of like it's a conspiracy theory thing. Like they're always like, oh, the freaking Illuminati live there or something. And a while back, the Denver Municipal Airport had to undergo construction. And so they had a different take on how to handle this. So here's this video real quick.
International airport is under some major construction. Normally when an airport's like that, sometimes they'll do cutesy things like harden our dust, but you're going to fly better in a few months, you know, and like kind of like a little wink that try to make you okay with the fact that you're inconvenienced by the construction. Denver, they're leaning into the fact that people are saying that there are satanic and phallic symbols at the airport.
Oh, I love this.
Construction or cover up.
I love it.
And it has like the eye that's watching the, you know,
what
like
is
from
that
the
called?
Illuminati eye on a construction hat. Are we creating the world's greatest airport or preparing for the end of the world? What are we doing?
Lizard people.
Adding amazing new restaurants and bars, building an Illuminati headquarters, remodeling the lizard people's lair. Learn the truth at denfiles.com.
I love this.
So what do you think, man? What do you think?
I think it's good. I think it's fine. I don't
What?
don't really.
You
don't
don't
have
really
much to say
attach to
about
that
it.
video at all?
No, I get why you're attached to it because you believe in aliens and conspiracies. You're a conspiracy theorist.
I am not a conspiracy theorist.
I believe
man.
in Bigfoot. You believe in, if somebody.
Dude, there
There's
is
a-
a stand-up that talks about this, about the idea of this is the biggest, like the boomers are like the dumbest generation ever because he's like, they can't even figure out how to right click anymore. Like, and that they send him videos like, oh, here's Bigfoot at the shopping mall. How do you not know that that's true? And he's like, it's so obvious from all these things on there, but I stay off the internet because you don't have the skill to. I don't know. It's just funny. I think it's funny that like now there's institutions kind of rolling into like kind of going into the idea of like, all right, if you think all this stuff's true, then we're just gonna like let you think it.
Well, let us think it.
It's such a lame take, dude.
I don't know,
All right,
dude.
I've gassed you.
Your taste on videos sometimes I don't really.
Oh,
I get why you watch them.
yeah.
But I just don't know what to say about them. Like
I think sometimes that happens with people in general, though. I think sometimes when I like text people back and forth, I'll text them something, and then
I'm like, well, maybe.
But nobody says anything to me. You're not like, oh, okay, that's just weird. Don't.
It's because I know you're a smart guy. Like you went to school for smart things, and you kind of have a smarter brain. So I think you think about stuff a little bit deeper than that. And I would have looked at that sign and been like, huh. So what? Huh? Oh, all right. Well, I guess construction happens. But you're like, you hear like the X-Files going off, and you're like, I wonder what's behind that. Let's go and investigate. Let's do
doing
that.
the like 10 spin-off cycle.
I don't want to know. Like, if there is aliens, I could care less because again, right now I live and go to work every single morning, and I have to do like, okay, so if there's an alien race coming, Superman shows up. Like I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, what if Superman actually showed up and he was like, boom. Be like, okay, Superman, that's cool, bro, but I gotta go to work in the morning. I have to go and do these things while you're being cool. Thanks a lot, Superman. You're so cool.
Yes. Would it not cause you to have major questions about anything now?
Really? I'd be like, wow, we got a guy here that flies. We got another one that throws some bat wings. We got another one that swims with fish. I'd be like, yeah, what about the rest of us? We have to go to work again the next day.
Yeah. Help me with my job, Superman.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Superman. Why don't you do my job for me? You don't have to do nothing, bro. You just get to fly around and beat up people.
Thank you, Spider-Man.
Thanks, Spider-Man, for everything. And we have to go to work and train and deliver babies. Thanks a lot, Superman.
Yeah. You'd probably be more like Homelander if you had powers, dude.
I would, dude. I'd be like, hey, you take that. Okay, now we're better off. Dumb people leave. Done with y'all.
Oh, shit.
And with that note, thank you guys for joining us.
And now we have suggested a class cleansing.
Yeah, thank you guys for we do not
we need
this.
that disclaimer, dude. I've been meaning to work on it. It's probably gonna have to get out here pretty soon. Oh my gosh. Okay. We didn't next time on the show, we're not doing it today. I will show some early pictures that my practice partner sent me, showing like my name being posted up there and the address. So you get some early sneak peek of what the new digs are going to look like. I'm super excited for it. If any of people out that way are listening to it, I definitely am. And we're going to get that little sneak peek on the show next week. Things to look forward to. Again, I am actively working on some guests coming on here very shortly in the weeks to come. And we will be at our regularly scheduled time next week around Sunday afternoon to record and then hopefully on air by Sunday night and uploaded. So, Mr. Bustos, Senor Bustos,
thank you guys for joining. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, mine.
I love everybody.
I
love them all except for the aliens. Don't like you, alien.
Well. All right, so for your Muscles and Malpractice family, this is Dr. Martin. I am signing off as well. Take care of you and your growing families, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.
I got time.